Surely anyone over 50 has seen those posters lining the streets, or those sexy commercials playing on screens back in the day. They weren't just beautiful, they had a magnetic pull, the kind that helped build the fame of countless Hollywood stars. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on those long-hidden secrets to see which advertising campaigns helped these stars step off the silver screen and become timeless icons of their era. Marilyn Monroe, the immortal icon of Hollywood, was more than just a star. She was a pioneer of sensual imagery ahead of her time. Before the bright lights and glittering posters, she dared to appear in bold ads. Janssen Swimwear, Max Factor, even campaigns for alcohol and soft drinks, each frame making hearts skip a beat. But behind that smile, behind the swimsuits and flowing dresses, was a calculated strategy, a delicate dance between allure and power, where Marilyn became a visual temptress. Those posters didn't just sell products. They etched into the public's memory an unmistakable star, captivating yet dangerous. It was through this daring exposure that she stepped off the silver screen into reality, building her name into a dark legend where seductive light always mingled with untold secrets. Ever wonder what made Rita Hayworth more than just another pretty face in Hollywood? I mean, seriously, have you ever looked at those old posters and thought, how did she get away with that? Long before social media and viral ads, Rita was turning heads in magazine spreads, pin-ups, and the occasional sultry product campaign. Max Factor, hair care lines, even some whiskey promotions. She wasn't just selling a product, she was selling herself, her image, her mystique. Every glance, every pose was calculated, yet felt effortless, like she was inviting the audience in without saying a word. And here's the thing. Behind that flawless smile, behind the glitter and glamour, there was a sharp, cunning woman fully aware of the power she held. Those campaigns didn't just make her famous, they crafted a legend, a dangerous magnetic aura that still pulls at our imagination today. Can you even imagine the courage it took to flirt with scandal while staying untouchable? Yeah, that's Hollywood for you. You know, there's something about Ava Gardner that just makes you stop and stare. Like, even decades later, she's still whispering from those old black and white posters. Seriously, who could look that effortless, that dangerous, and still totally magnetic? Back then, she wasn't just acting in films. She was turning ordinary ads into legends. Whiskey, cigarettes, magazine spreads. Every campaign dripped with a kind of quiet, daring sensuality that practically dared the public to look away. And it wasn't random. It was Ava, fully aware of the power she carried in a single glance, a tilt of her head, the curve of her lips. These images didn't just sell products. They sold a persona, a myth, a woman untouchable yet thrillingly close. Can you imagine the courage it took to strut into those campaigns, knowing every eye was on you, every whisper could become a headline? That's the thing about Ava Gardner. She didn't just make herself famous. She made mystery an art form, and even now, it's impossible not to be pulled in. You ever wonder what it really took to become Hollywood royalty back in the golden age? Just look at Lana Turner. One glance at her, and you understand instantly. Long before social media or flashy commercials, she was already bending the rules of allure, turning simple posters and magazine spreads into provocations you couldn't ignore. Swimsuits, glamorous gowns, even soft drink ads. Each image was more than marketing. It was a statement, a promise of danger wrapped in elegance. Lana knew how to work the camera, how to make every tilt of her head, every subtle curve, feel electrifying. Behind the sparkling eyes and radiant smile, there was a keen awareness of her own power, a sense that the world was hers to captivate. Those campaigns didn't just sell products, they cemented her myth, a woman untouchable yet irresistibly close, leaving audiences to wonder what lay behind the glamour. Can you imagine stepping into that world, knowing that every glance could spark a frenzy? That was Lana Turner, and she did it like no one else could. You ever hear someone say she could stop traffic just by walking down the street? Yeah, That was Jayne Mansfield. From the moment she stepped in front of a camera, you knew she wasn't playing by the rules. We're not just talking films, those posters, those magazine spreads, even the boldest liquor and soft drink campaigns. They weren't just ads, they were statements. Jayne had this electric way of leaning into the lens, tilting her head, letting her eyes do all the talking. And you felt it, didn't you? Every glance was a dare, every smile a tease, and every carefully choreographed pose whispered secrets that the public couldn't get enough of. Behind the platinum hair and hourglass curves, she was sharp, cunning, and fully aware of the chaos she could unleash with just one look. Those campaigns didn't merely sell products, they built a legend, a woman so dangerously magnetic that even decades later, people still can't help but be pulled in. Can you imagine walking a tightrope like that every single day, knowing the world is watching, judging, and craving more? That was Jayne Mansfield, Hollywood's wildfire, untouchable yet utterly unforgettable. You know, there are stars who just own the room the moment they walk in, and Sophia Loren, yeah, she was one of those. I mean, come on, have you ever seen someone make a simple glance feel like an entire story? Back in the day, she wasn't just selling movies. Oh no, she was selling an idea, a fantasy. Every pinup, every magazine spread, even a few European perfume campaigns. They dripped with this slow-burning, sophisticated kind of heat. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't just about being beautiful. It was the way she moved, the tilt of her chin, the almost invisible smirk that said, "I know what you're thinking." Those campaigns didn't just make her famous, they made her legendary. People were captivated, some even intimidated, because Sophia had that rare mix of elegance and danger. Can you imagine it? The cameras, the lights, the whispers behind closed doors. And her, standing there, knowing exactly the power she held over the world. That's Sophia Loren, folks. Pure, untouchable, irresistible. And just when you think you've seen it all, along comes Brigitte Bardot. Yeah, that Brigitte. Have you ever seen someone turn a simple stroll on the beach into a full-blown spectacle? I mean, seriously. Posters, magazine spreads, even European swimwear campaigns. She didn't just model, she commanded attention. Every toss of her hair, every casual glance, it was like she was daring the world to look away. And the thing is, behind that playful smile and sun-kissed curves, there was a clever, calculating awareness of the chaos she could ignite. Those campaigns didn't just advertise bikinis or perfume. They built an aura, a mythos, a woman who could be wild, untamed, and utterly magnetic all at once. People whispered, photographers schemed, and yet Brigitte owned every frame without breaking a sweat. Can you imagine walking that line? Fun, flirtatious, dangerously alluring, while everyone's eyes are glued to you? Yeah, that's Brigitte Bardot, the ultimate tease, untouchable, unforgettable. And just when you think you've seen every shade of glamour, Elizabeth Taylor steps in. And suddenly, it's all about those eyes. Have you ever felt like someone could see straight through you? That was Liz. From magazine covers to beauty campaigns to the occasional perfume ad. She wasn't just selling a product, she was selling an experience, a dangerous allure wrapped in elegance. Every glance, every subtle arch of her brow, whispered stories the public wasn't supposed to know, yet couldn't stop imagining. Behind the sparkling diamonds, the perfect coiffed hair, and the radiant smile, there was a woman fully aware of her power who could captivate and intimidate in the same breath. Those campaigns didn't just boost her fame, they etched her into legend, making her a living myth. Can you picture it? The lights, the whispers, the world hanging on every tiny gesture. And Liz, standing there, knowing exactly how to make everyone fall under her spell. That's Elizabeth Taylor, untouchable, irresistible, and eternally unforgettable. And just when you think the screen has shown you every curve of classic Hollywood, Jane Russell walks in. And suddenly, you realize power can come in the sway of a single step. Have you ever noticed how a glance, a tilt of the chin, or even the way she held a cigarette could stop a room cold? That was Jayne. From pin-up posters to lingerie campaigns, and even a few bold liquor and soft drink spreads, she wasn't just promoting products. She was projecting a persona, a magnetic force that dared the world to look and look closer. Behind that sultry smile and perfect hourglass figure, there was a sharp, calculating awareness of her own allure. Every campaign didn't just make her famous, it turned her into a living legend, a woman who could be both untouchable and dangerously enticing at the same time. Can you imagine the audacity it took to walk into those shoots, knowing every eye was locked on you, every whisper could explode into scandal? That was Jane Russell, bold, unforgettable, and completely in control of her mystique. Some stars have that rare kind of magic, the kind that hits you before you even realize it. That was Betty Grable. From the very first pinup poster to the bold swimsuit campaigns that graced magazine covers everywhere, she wasn't just selling a product. She was selling fantasy, style, and a little bit of mischief. Those endless legs, that radiant smile, the playful tilt of her head, it wasn't just glamorous, it was magnetic. Behind the perfect poses and sparkling eyes, there was a sharp, clever awareness of her effect on the audience, a knowingness that every glance could captivate, tease, or even scandalize. These campaigns didn't just make her famous, they immortalized her, turning Betty into a symbol of classic Hollywood allure. Can you imagine standing in front of a camera, knowing millions of eyes are on you, yet making it feel effortless? That was Betty Grable, confident, untouchable, and absolutely unforgettable, the final dazzling note in the golden age of Hollywood's most seductive stars.